Are you a film fan who loves the ultimate home video experience? Look no further than The Disconnected. Your host, Ryan Verrill, is your go-to source for the latest and most accurate information on home video releases, exclusive interviews with industry insiders and filmmakers, and has established a thriving community where every film and physical media enthusiast feels welcome. From hidden gems to blockbuster hits, The Disconnected brings you insider knowledge and a welcoming space to share your love of cinema. Watch every Thursday night at 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific for the live announcements show and follow The Disconnected on social media to stay updated. Subscribe to The Disconnected on YouTube or on the podcast provider of your choice and dive into a world where every movie night is an adventure.
Hello and welcome to Tumbleweeds and TV Cowboys. My name is Hunter. In this podcast, I'll be joined by a different guest each week to discuss a classic Western movie or TV show. I've been a fan of classic Westerns for as long as I can remember, and in recent years, they've become very nostalgic for me. I love the aesthetic, the tropes, and I love seeing different filmmakers' takes on them. At their best, they're incredibly entertaining, rewatchable, and some of my all-time favorite movies are Westerns. We'll mostly focus on Western movies made in Hollywood, but we'll also be covering spaghetti Westerns, and one thing I'm very excited to get into are Western TV shows. I've got some amazing guests coming on the show, film professors, historians, and podcasters. And Tumbleweeds and TV Cowboys is part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network, and many guests on the show will be from other shows on the network. Thanks for listening.
If you're looking for more horror outside of the mainstream, look no further than Unsung Horrors, a podcast about underseen horror movies. I'm Lance.
And I'm Erica. Every other week, we'll cover a horror movie with fewer than 1,000 views on Letterboxd. We'll even give you double feature recommendations to pair with the movies we discuss.
From gothic to shot on video, from slashers to comedies, from giallo to J-horror, we'll cover all the subgenres. So join us as we unearth these hidden gems of horror.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all at Unsung Horrors, available wherever you listen to podcasts. And part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Welcome to the Life and Times of Captain Barney Miller podcast. I'm your host, Mike White. Joining me, of course, is the plainclothesman with the most men, maybe, Chris Dashew.
I have a terrible and horrible announcement to make. They're putting me on leave! Bum, bum, bum. We're finally here, Mike. Stakes have been raised with Barney Miller.
And with Wojo, but we'll get to that. We are talking about a two-parter, Eviction. The first part ran February 2nd, 1978. The second part, February 9th, 1978. Took a week off, and then we came back with Wojo's Problem, directed by the one and only Max Gail, written by our friend Tony Sheehan. That came out February 23rd, 1978. These first two are Gnome Pitlick episodes, and you got your Reinhold Ouija, Tom Reeder, and Tony Sheehan working on these as well. So, Chris, I guess we should probably talk about Eviction 1 and 2 almost together, because they pretty much just run right from one to the other, though there's a period of time in between, and I wasn't sure how long that period lasts for.
Yeah, me either. Indeterminate amount of time. Again, this is one of these things that's an expectation of ours now versus the way TV was written then, obviously. You have the problem here, which is they don't know, I guess, enough to care or think that we care enough to ask. So they're just like, whatever. It was a little bit of time. This isn't the first two-parter. This is like the second or third one we've seen. Because there was the Goodbye Mr. Fish one, which was awful. If memory serves, Goodbye Mr. Fish was not good.
It was a sour note for Fish to go out on. And the other one, that was the one where they were spending the night in the precinct because of the plague. I can't remember.
Quarantine. I think for me, this is probably the best two-parter.
Yeah, the other one was Strike, just for the record. Yeah, we went from a two-parter end of season 3 to a two-parter beginning of season 4. And then we've got this Eviction, not in the middle, kind of more towards the end. We're entering the last third of the fourth season, let's say.
We're barreling towards the end of the show's fourth season. It's interesting, like, with this two-parter, it kind of builds some momentum on some things that, again, it's not that I wasn't expecting the show to finally suspend Barney, but I guess a man of his honor, right? I mean, he's a man of his word, so he gets suspended for being a man of his word. That's the way I look at it. I mean, again, I don't know how else you would look at the situation you're presented with in this episode of not wanting to evict people who cannot live somewhere else. But Barney this is his, as they would say, this is his hill to die on.
So the story is there are some people holed up in a hotel where they've been living. They're regular residents there, and there's a little businessman, bureaucrat guy. I mostly know him as Ruben Kincaid from the Partridge Family, but that's Dave Madden as Clayton Walsh, and he wants these people out of there. And man, when Dave Madden gets going, he's got that kind of squeak in his voice, so annoying to listen to him when he gets really upset, but he plays the character very well. He wants them out of there. Barney, of course, we've talked about this before. He wants to settle everything with a fucking conversation. Nope.
Very TNG of Barney.
Very, very. He really wants to work through this, and nope. Clayton Walsh is not having that, and eventually goes above or around Barney to Manhattan South, and they're the ones that go in there and start busting up the joint, trying to get these people out. And it ends up there is like an armed standoff between the people at the hotel and the police force. So imagine that. I did go through the archives trying to find a similar situation that happened in New York, because this feels very much like it was ripped from the headlines.
The entire conflict comes from Barney's interior conflict, which is nice. I mean, again, it's an interesting way of telling this story, because again, Barney normally, I would say almost always, probably to a fault at some point with this show's ability to create character growth, because I'm not sure there has been, frankly, a lot. I think the character with the least amount of growth in this show is the character whose name this show is named after. Wouldn't you agree? It's kind of shocking in a way. Barney is at times the least important character and the most important character in his own show. But he has like no character growth whatsoever. He's essentially been somewhat the same character, unfalteringly good since, Real One that we saw of this show. It's kind of, it's not disappointing in a way, but when you think about it, we know how Lyndon's a really good actor because we get to see it in every episode that he's in, but he is kind of one note.
I think it's good, though. He's the straight man, and he has to be that straight man throughout so much of this.
Constantly.
It works.
This is the first time on this show where that has become a problem. Like a genuine problem for his character, because now he's suspended. And it's like, I can't believe it took them to season 4 to get here. I'm kind of surprised in a way. But I like it. I appreciate it, because again, now, do I miss maybe what we could have gotten out of Abe Vigoda with that interaction? Sure. But at the same time, we've got Landisberg who gets the B-plot. The entire B-plot is his, which is also kind of a testament to where the show is going and a little bit of a changing of the times, given that this is season 4 of the show, and the season 4 started with part 1 of a part 2-parter, right? The Goodbye, Mr. Fish. It's kind of it's a little bit kind of a changing of the guard a little bit with the show, because they gave Landisberg just his own 2-part B plot,
which is fantastic. He's got this gal who's got amnesia, and of course he is so astute that he is able to diagnose her with amnesia, takes her down to Belleville. They agree with his assessment, releases her back into his care, and then he basically is kind of dating this amnesiac, and yeah.
Is this creepy? It's the first time I saw Dietrich as kind of a predator, a little bit. It was a little predatory. Actually a lot predatory, to be perfectly honest with you.
Well, in the way that he is peppering his dialogue with, how Barney's like, well, she could be faking it. And he gives this very scientific explanation. Then he goes, Plus, those eyes won't lie.
Yeah. And he's like, something, 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 her great big old gams. And it's like, what the fuck? That I was not a fan of. The implication's already there without it. You don't have to, like, lean into it.
We should let the cat out of the bag. In the second part, they eventually figure out who she is, and more importantly, what she is, which is a nun. And it sounds like they had been fucking, though she almost, like, once she remembers who she is, it's almost like she forgot who she wasn't. You know what I mean? And there's that line about, how can I thank you or whatever? And it's like, well, I think you already did. And basically, yeah, it sounds like they had been having sex.
Deflowering the nuns. Dietrich, you dirty, dirty dog.
When I lose big.
Yeah, I love Steve Landesberg in this show. He has absolutely made this show a lot more fun by having him around. But yeah, this two-parter, he was a little much. It was at times unsavory, to say the least.
Well, you get that weird thing too, where he wants Barney to call him Arthur, and
right.
and it
gotcha.
Does not. Yeah.
Yeah. He goes, gotcha. That gotcha shit was great. Hey, I would say that reminds me of Spider-Man No Way Home. They do that exact same gag. That stupid fucking gag. That's such like a cheesy gag. I actually think it works really well here, though. It normally doesn't get a laugh out of me. Because they always play that, like, call me this, no, call me this, and then somebody, like, immediately doesn't get it. It's like, I don't know. Landesberg's delivery is just, he's so funny. It's unfair how funny he is. Because a lot of the other people in the show this season have been really given a backseat to Landesberg. Like, I'm not going to lie to you, Mike. Jack Sue this season has done, like, nothing.
Yeah. Though he's pretty funny in this, too, as far as the only real clue for me as far as how much time passes between this is when I think it's Dietrich is talking to him about William Henry Harrison, and that Harrison, it might have been Harris might have said this. I can't remember who it was, but talking about how William Henry Harrison died before he even had 30 days in office. So at least Yamana made it that far without dying before this new piece of shit lieutenant comes in and tries to take over things. This guy, he's got problems. Wow. Lieutenant Vogel is his name. And
John Clavin, great character actor. What a real piece of shit.
Yeah,
he's just like massive,
but awful at the same time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, he's again. That's the thing with this show. It feels like whenever they show the other cops, like the other kind of higher up cops. What was the Scanlon is the one that always shows up. They're like worse than worst. They're worse than you could even imagine because they're dickheads to other cops. Like, you assume that the cops are going to be dickheads to you, General John Q. Public, but, like, you don't assume that they're fucking dickheads to each other. And every single cop that's not from the 12th precinct in this show is just, like, the biggest piece of shit. They're horrible. Every single one of them.
Well, yeah, especially the guy from South that comes in here, Bruce Kirby, Bruno's father, actually. You're going to be seeing a lot of him in Columbo, where he is one of the very few reoccurring-ish type characters. He plays this guy, Sergeant George Kramer, a few times, but then Sergeant Brindle, TV repairman. So he plays a few things in here, but yeah, he shows up from Manhattan South and it's just like, okay, who's the bigger dick? Is it him or is it Vogel?
They're both pretty terrible.
And they both make Luger seem just so nice. And Luger seems genuinely upset when he has to deliver the news to Barney that he's being relieved of duty and take his gun and badge.
It's, again, one of those moments in the show where he's playing against the way like, I never would have imagined that's where his character would end up. But yet here we are. And it's like you said, Luger's like heartbroken. It's like, I'm sorry, Barney. It's like, oh my God, like this man is trying not to cry. I don't know where that came from. That was too much. I hear his voice in my head. That's how good that fucking fake voice that James Gregory does for Luger. Because we know that's not what he sounds like, but his delivery every time he's on screen is just so good. I know we joked about it with the Luger alert and everything, but he's just so good in this show.
I never expected the chemistry between him and Levitt. Now, I know that they have spoken before, and he always calls Levitt by the wrong name, including this one. I think calls him like Greenback or something. Usually calls him Levine. Yeah. But they are both cut from the same cloth as far as, so Luger is supposed to be going on vacation, has no idea what to do. And when he talks with Levitt, Levitt is very much the same, like, I don't know. It's like both of these guys would never take vacations.
Hold on a second. You didn't go as far. It's not that he's taking a vacation. He's being forced to take a vacation because he has like, what did he say? Like 12 weeks of vacation or some shit. He is that person that people have heard of at their jobs that just doesn't go on vacation. He is that person. 12 weeks of vacation is a fucking ridiculous amount of vacation.
Oh yeah. I'm counting out every hour, every minute practically. Like I could take a half a day here and then I could take an hour off for this. And every year it's the struggle waiting for your time off to refill.
Levitt I'm still waiting for that moment where I kind of like Levitt, and seeing him playing back and forth with Luger was kind of an interesting moment because I was like, maybe there is more to this character. I hope there is. I mean, again, Richard Haddam, expert on all things, including Barney Miller, has said we will like him. And so did Otto, to be fair. Otto, author of the preeminent Barney Miller expert, I guess.
Levitt's all about like how professional he is and how great he is as a cop. And when he volunteers in the second part to be the translator for Barney, and has no idea how to speak Spanish. Thought that was pretty good. Instead of saying to go to his house, he's calling it his homo.
He's pretty funny in this episode. I like him in this episode. Again, his character's not for everybody, and he's growing on me very slowly. Not like Landisberg. I mean, the humor stylings of Steve Landisberg, I think, were much an easier entry point than Ron Carey's kind of, I don't know, is he kind of a prototypical George Costanza in a lot of ways? Like there's kind of that like the neuroticism there, and like the whole like constantly like self-image obsessed thing. You know, like it was in the, what did the fuck does Costanza say about his dick shriveling?
Oh, like, I was in the pool.
I could see Levitt saying that because he's already had that kind of this show's equivalent where they were talking about him being like a fucking pipsqueak and stuff. So I like where his character may be going. But yeah, seeing him and Luger together, I think, was pretty funny.
The one thing I really liked, kind of an in-joke in the episode, the first part, was when Luger's trying to figure out something to do, and he stops Yamana and he asks him if Flower Drum Song is still playing, which is a role that Jack Sue was actually in the movie of. That was nice.
Jack Sue, not looking great.
No.
And it's not getting better, unfortunately. I mean, again, like, with real world kind of knowledge and history, knowing that I think we're within a year of him passing away at this point. I remember distinctly, I don't remember which episode of our show, but I think it was like season 2, maybe you mentioned like he looked kind of sickly, and I think he was going through something then, but now it's just like he's real. I mean, again, I mentioned kind of Jack Sue hasn't been around this season. That's probably due to his declining health, unfortunately, and he's really barely in next episode. I mean, and we're kind of closing in on that point, but it's unfortunate because he was such a big part of this show, especially in those first 2 seasons, really. It's nice to see him still like kind of around, but it's just it's unfortunate because it's not like Abe Vigoda where we know he's off making whatever you want to call fish. The show we can't find, that's what we should call it.
interesting thing for me in the second part of this two-parter is that we actually get to leave the station. You know, this is so rare that we leave the 1-2. And here we are at that hotel, and we've got Rosanna DeSoto, who I think is fantastic in this role as Elena Elizondo. She and Felipe Turek as Jorge Rodriguez. Those two are the representatives of the tenants, though Jorge doesn't speak English. She speaks both. And of course, we get that thing that Danny Arnold where she starts to get angry and starts speaking Spanish really fast. But I like her character. And I like also that she's a prostitute. And it took me a little while to realize that they had said that. And then when Wojo, of course, denigrates her, you know, oh yeah, that hooker. And Barney's like,
Wojahowitz, man, chill your ass out, man. With every time I think that he's growing as a character, he opens his mouth and says hooker, whore, prostitute, and it's just like, dude, what? I get where the line is for the joke, but it's just, it wasn't good then, and it's not funny now, that's for sure.
I really appreciated what she was bringing to it. I didn't realize just how many things that she had been in and still is. It seems like she's still working, which is fantastic. There's not a lot of people from the show that are still out there working, which is, a shame, but she seems to be killing it. And she had been in things all along. And, she actually played a courtesan in the episode The Courtesans, and then she'll be back again, probably also playing a sex worker in an episode called Strip Joint. That's my guess, anyway.
You mentioned people from this show that are still working. I do want to point out, we're recording this sometime in 2022. Hal Linden and Max Gail are still working actors. Hal Linden is in his mid-80s. Max Gail is in his late 70s. We don't talk about that enough because, again, we'd love to speak to them, but I think it's still great that they are still working actors because, like you said, there are a lot of character actors still working from this show. Obviously, given the age of the show, most everybody's passed away. Out of the main cast, it is really just Hal Linden and Max Gail, right? It is kind of nice to see them still working.
Way to bring the show down, Chris.
Who's going to be in Grandpa Daycare otherwise? Ready to bring the show right back to where it belongs.
But yeah, it's nice that they send out Barney to negotiate with the folks from the hotel. And, things don't go as well as they could, but eventually there is a settlement. And I keep calling him Ruben Kincaid in my head, but Clayton Walsh eventually figures out that there's another building that they can move all the folks from the hotel together into another building. It'll be torn down in a year, but with all the red tape and all those things, it'll probably take quite a few years before they're able to shut that down. So basically, they're going to squat in this other place.
Move the problem on down the road.
That's what we like to do.
Not in my backyard, baby. It's okay, Jack. It's NIMBY. Whatever. Again, the show wrote itself into kind of a corner. So I was kind of trying to figure out how the episode was going to fix itself there at the end, and it didn't really. It just said, "Oh, there." Like you said, it's kind of lazy. I think we both agree, but it's also 70s television.
So there's not a whole lot more that they can do in this. I mean, no. They went the best way that they could, I guess.
We'll just move them. All right. Again, like you said, at least we saw the building, so we know it exists. But this episode served as kind of giving you that cliffhanger moment of Barney getting suspended. And that's kind of what this episode's kind of big hinge moment was. And then past that, it's like, well, whatever. We got the big moment of Barney getting suspended. It's kind of what it feels like, really. I mean, it's not a bad episode, but it kind of does exist to kind of encapsulate this weird thing where Barney gets suspended for an episode, I guess.
Well, yeah, and it's not like he's even away. It's not like the second part has no Hal Linden because he's back within 15 minutes.
The show's two-parters are not great, but this is the better of the ones, I think, so far.
I think you're right, yeah. I think maybe Strike might have been up there just because that was another one where people are in crisis. The actual guys from the 1-2 are in crisis, but definitely this was better than, say, Quarantine, and definitely better than Goodbye, Mr. Fish.
Yeah, well, Goodbye, Mr. Fish's premise was so fucked to begin with. It was so worthless to begin with. Where's Fish? This is not the way this show needs to be handling this character. You know what, though, Mike? You know what we should be talking about? Male impotence. On this episode of Barney Miller, brought to you by Blue Chew, BlueChew.com. If you don't want to swallow Viagra, chew it. And brought to you by Roman and Hims. What a fucking left field thing, huh?
So strange. Yes, Wojo's problem, he couldn't get it up.
Is literally what you think it is. If you told someone an episode is this character's name and a problem, you'd probably be like, is it they can't keep it up?
Was it Wentworth that he was with, or somebody else? Has he moved on from Wentworth?
I don't know.
Because there's that whole thing where Barney's trying to take a message, and the woman is very persistent, but...
I couldn't tell you. My headcanon, I would like to believe it's Wentworth. We didn't mention, the guy from the last episode was a pretty big reoccurring character on Alice. Wentworth's show. Dave Madden, I think was his name. Yeah, so he was a recurring character there on, speaking of Wentworth. I don't know, was it supposed to be Wentworth? They never say. Barney, I think, would recognize her voice, right?
Yeah, it seems like he would say something.
Hey, Wentworth, funny, yeah. What a weird episode. This is one of the stranger episodes of this show for sure.
We've talked in the past about the A, B, and C plot. This one definitely has the A, B, and C going on because our A is Wojo's problem, his impotence. We've got, I guess our B might be Stanley Brock is back as Bruno Bender. He was the one who was trying to hire or give money and basically start vigilantism in New York because the cops aren't doing their job. And here he is. He got robbed, ladies and gentlemen, and he's like, if I had those posters up, this would probably be all taken care of, and he's trying to be nice. He's trying to be nice to the police, but he just kind of keeps throwing in little, you guys are so incompetent type of lines. And our C plot is, interestingly enough, the replacement for Chano has finally shown up. I hope this character...
Season 4, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I hope this character does not stick around. Officer Rosalind Licori, who looks like Licorice if you look it up.
Or it looks like licorice.
Yeah.
It's literally licorice sans 2 letters.
And her crazy, possessive husband. And boy, oh boy, does that wear thin very quickly.
I don't know what wears thin more, Wojo's lack of keeping it hard or possessive husband. What where are the catcalls in this episode? That's what I was waiting for. We have all the stereotypical male bullshit. Literally impotence and being a jealous husband. Let's fantasy. What would have been the third thing? If you want to go for the trifecta in the 70s, what's the third thing?
Domestic violence? I don't know.
Losing your job to someone who doesn't look like you.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, we'll go the Archie Bunker route. Wojo's mad that someone who doesn't look like him has his job or some bullshit. Something to that effect. This is really a dumb this is kind of an insulting episode, frankly. I don't know how else to say it. I'm sorry.
I was hoping that it would be kind of one of these very special episodes with actually talking about male impotence back in 1977, but 1978. I looked up our Officer Licori. She's back twice more as Officer Licori, and then she comes back as a character named Naomi Bender, including the third part of Landmark, which I think is the last episode. She was also in the episode Bugs that we talked about before, where they find all of the listening devices in the office.
I remember that one. That was a halfway decent episode.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So she'll be back twice more. Hopefully her husband won't in the episodes Hostage and Evaluation.
I want to know who in the writer's room thought that this was funny. Because it's not even funny. It's just kind of a jealous husband. We've seen this. Wait, actually, you know what the biggest problem is? We've seen this 5 times now at this point. You know, we've seen jealous wives, we've seen jealous husbands, we've seen jealous gay lovers in this show. Why keep doing it? It reminds me of kind of like the late problems with Tales from the Crypt, where it was just like, we're just going to do love triangles for half the season. It's like, but why? But because I guess it's easy. And you have a bunch of character actors that are just like, you look kind of like you could play a jealous husband, right? Like, yeah, okay, easy enough. You get my daily SAG pay, and we'll just move on to whatever fucking show they're shooting on the back lot, because I'm sure it's just bounce from here to Cotter to something else to something else to something else, and you do the circuit. Because this is what, the 5th or 6th time we've seen Stanley Brock on this show, as the 3rd time that he's played the same character, and he's going to be back like 2 or 3 more times at least. His character's okay. His plot's okay. It's not much of a plot.
Not too much, yeah. That whole, like, finger gun thing that he's doing actually seems kind of threatening to me. Like, he's just like, hey, if I had a gun, I could take care of this problem kind of thing. I'm like, all right, thanks.
Well, okay, so hold on a second. So he's getting robbed. Wasn't there an episode a couple episodes ago where that guy was like a fucking, like, vigilante detective guy? Why don't they just be like, hey, go talk to him, and he'll protect your store. Hey, pay him the vig. They're going through the effort to have some of these people come back as the same characters. So in my mind, there's someone in the writer's room who is keeping track. So why not just have that character actor come back? Because more than likely he is anyways. That actor probably comes back again, I guarantee it, if we went back and looked.
No, he definitely does. He was in Goodbye, Mr. Fish, Part 1. He was the guy that owned the comedy club, whereas there's the unfunny comic, I think. And then, yeah, Bruno Bender, the character, comes back several more times, including Landmark Part 3. So all the way at the end, we will get Bruno Bender. It's kind of like a greatest hits, it sounds like.
You know, Stanley Brock's a great character actor, so it's always welcome. He's always a welcome presence. Even if he's being given nothing to do. Literally, just sit in a chair the entire episode.
Even if he is just there, you know, at the counter serving Steven Seagal in Hard to Kill, you know, it works for me.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. It all comes back to Seagal in the end.
One of the reasons why he's calling the police incompetent is because of a criminal that they capture, Henry Slate as Louis Frankel, who is in a wheelchair. And he manages to keep getting away from Yamana? Yeah, from Yamana. It's actually kind of funny, especially the very last bit when you actually see him trying to scoot on down the hallway and somebody's like, should we tell him that there's, you know, just stairs down there?
Right? He ain't going very far, pal, but it's okay. You'll find out soon enough. The problem with this episode is that's, I guess that would be the C plot. That C plot is the only funny thing here. And in it being the only funny thing, it's given, I think if you talk about these kinds of episodes, A, B, and C, the C plot's given, maybe 5 minutes in total? 6 minutes, maybe? Those 6 minutes are funnier than the 22 minutes or 16 minutes of everything else. Like, the Wojo being impotent is just, I genuinely don't understand who fucking cares about Wojo not being able to keep a stiffy, like.
Well, and it doesn't really have a beginning, middle, and end to it either. So I don't know if this is going to keep coming back. I hope not.
Impotence? Like, what? That's how the episode essentially ends. A fucking freeze frame of them being like, your dick can't get hard. Uh-oh, like, yeah. Like, what the fuck, Naked Gun? Like, all of a sudden the show just goes right over, just jumps the shark completely. Yeah, that's my point. Like, it's literally a freeze frame moment about how Wojo cannot keep it hard. Like, wow. Did other shows ever tackle male impotence in a serious form? Because again, this is the same season of Rape.
Yeah, I'm sure that there were other series that did this, but I'm just not sure and when that would have been. But I thought it was kind of gutsy.
Very special. Welcome back, Cotter.
I thought it was kind of gutsy, and I also thought it was interesting that it's Max Gail directing this. So you could have given himself a bigger part, it feels like.
He is being pursued by women and he can't keep it up. It's still like, how bad do we really feel for you? You're still setting it up as like, well, I gotta keep women away with a stick. And it's like, okay, So what then? Like, again, it's like, it's not like he's just this like William Sanderson nebbish guy. I just can't keep it up. Like, you're Max fucking Gail.
Right.
You say as much in the episode, like, I am having to beat women away with a stick. Like, I just can't keep the stick up. Like, you still got the stick, bro. Like, yeah. It's like, I don't feel bad for you. I don't know. The idea for the episode is just a little... For this show, it's a little weird, I think. Is this something that other men are telling each other? Like, hey, I can't keep it up. But me either. Like, it feels like something that's deeply personal and might, obviously, for a lot of men, be deeply embarrassing and like...
But that's the thing, Chris. We have to normalize this.
Well, I agree.
Bring
frankly.
it out in the open and start to talk about it. Make sitcoms about it.
It's just the whole show is just it's just that. What's that movie called? Me and My Dick or whatever.
Me and Him with Griffin Dunn.
Griffin Dunn, yeah. Just that as a TV show. Wasn't that just the basis of that show, Hung, or that show with Tom Jane with his like 13-inch dick, like. With things like Roman and Hymns and Blue Chew, like, I think it has normalized it away. Because, like, you don't have to go to the doctor and be like, that doctor, I have to talk about something. Like, I can't keep
Bob Dole led the way, man. Got on TV and was doing that Viagra commercial.
You can get these things delivered to your house now. Podcasters sell this. Some podcasts that I listen to sell it. So, like, it's actually kind of funny that we as podcasters are talking about an episode of a show about male impotence when a large portion of things that are sold through podcasting are sexual devices, including sexual contraception. Are these contraceptives? I don't know. Sexual aid devices like erectile dysfunction. I mean, that's male impotence. What the fuck is the term that people would prefer? Erectile dysfunction.
Yeah, ED, baby.
ED. That's me. It's ED, baby.
ED 209.
Yikes. Can't kill RoboCop because I can't shoot bullets. I'm only shooting blanks.
I gotta say, looking ahead, it's the timing on these next few episodes. We've got 5 left for this season. And I mentioned this episode was February 23rd. The next one, I would think, would be February 30th, but oddly enough, it's March 2nd. Just kidding. But you go March 2nd, March 23rd, so we're missing a couple weeks in there, just a week. And then you jump to May 4th, May 11th, and May 18th. So they just took off April with this one. I guess that's what you did. I thought that you were pretty regular on these, weekly series back in the 70s.
I don't know. All I know is the next episode has a great title. Quo Vadis, where are you going? Or is that where are you going? Where are you going?
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah, in Latin. Because isn't that what Jesus says to Paul or Peter when he's leaving to not be executed? And he's like, where are you? Like, why are you leaving? Like, don't do that. Sorry, that is about as much Bible as I know. That begins and ends there.
I think he would have said it in Aramaic, but that's okay. So,
well, in Latin, Jehovah's
the penitent man kneels before God.
But he doesn't roll. That's not part of it. Why is he rolling? I never understood that part. He said the penitent man shall pass at the penitent guy who then rolls forward.
That's right.
Oh my God. Oh jeez, we're way off. We're flying off into the other realm, into a Barney Miller multiverse of madness. Oh my God. Oh Lord.
No, that's All in the Family is the multiverse, I think.
Jesus right. That's the one where it like even the caretaker had a fucking spin-off show? Or is that the Jeffersons? What was the one where it's like the maid had their own show?
That was Maude is Edith's cousin, and Maude's maid was Florida, who then was the star of Good Times. The maid had her own show.
Boy, and they say that the MCU did it first. That to me is like, it's wild that Barney Miller's success was contained to Fish. You could have just been like, we're just going to go off with somebody else and somebody else. Like, why was there not a Wentworth show, really? They gave her own show anyways. And Cagney and Lacey, it would have been like, we're within striking distance of Cagney and Lacey, right?
Yeah, I think that was early-ish 80s. I'm not sure when that started. I mean, it would almost be like a follow-up to Barney, I think.
Immensely popular, massively popular show.
Was it as popular as we remember?
Well, I don't know.
I don't know either.
I mean, it's still popular now.
Yeah. Well, it was pretty groundbreaking.
Well, I assume things that were... Well, never mind. That's a dumb assumption to make. Blade Runner was not cool when it came out, but people won't stop talking about it now. So there are plenty of things, I guess. Yeah, I would like to believe Cagney and Lacey was a bigger deal than maybe it was. But yeah, it's pretty important. I think is this show important?
It feels like it. You know, there's that story Otto told us all those months ago about Dennis Farina talking about how this show captured the police experience better than any other show just because it shows the waiting and doesn't have the emphasis on the gunplay and all that kind of stuff. That is just more. I mean, this episode, actually both Wojo's Problem and I think the first part of Eviction both have Barney passing off reports that people have to do. You know, Harris sitting there smoking at his desk, feet up on the desk, and then Barney coming in and just like, oh, yeah, you look pretty relaxed, and then asking him if he can do these manpower reports, and Harris like, oh, yeah, I'll fit it in.
And I think to your point, I think that's the thing about Barney Miller that is better than most of the cop shows I've ever seen. I'm not saying I'm a cop show expert, but the ones that I have seen, I have friends that are firefighters, and I have friends that are both paid firefighters and volunteer firefighters, and this is what they do. Like, firefighting and policemen are very similar in that firemen don't necessarily roam the streets looking for people like the cops do, but I'm not sure they would be doing that in New York in the 70s anyways.
And I don't think detectives would.
Right,
no.
Right. So it is just a lot of sitting and waiting. So if someone were to ask me what Barney Miller is about, I would say it's about cops, but it's ultimately about what do cops do when they're not on the streets? Because again, like you mentioned, and I think this is as good of a time to bring it up as any, this is one of the very few times we're not just bound inside of the precinct. It's like probably one of 3 or 4 times, and I don't know how many more times. But like, we saw Barney's house 1, 2 times, maybe. I can't remember past the one time. You know, the one time where it was like his daughter was there, because he has a fucking daughter too that we...
Yeah, who is engaged to the associate district attorney, so...
Right,
yeah,
you would think that would come into play or something. I don't know. But like, I think they realize like, hey, the show is in the precinct. The show's not even really about Barney Miller anymore. Like, the show could be called anything else, and you would be like, it is an ensemble show, because while Barney is the captain, like I kind of mentioned a little while ago, like, for me, this is more the ensemble, and Barney just kind of always does the same thing.
So, Chris, when you are not talking about Barney Miller, what are you up to?
Over at the Culture Cast, my main show, we're talking movies, 1 movie a week, every week of the year, unless something comes up, which sometimes things do come up, folks. That's reality for you. We're talking about Rutger Hauer movies in August, which is not Blade Runner, so don't... But we are going to talk about The Hitcher, though. So if you're into that, which I don't think I've seen the original... I've seen the remake. Woof. Sean Bean is good in most things. Most is the key. Most. Sometimes even Sean Bean can't write upside down 18-wheeler. But that's where you can find me. And as always, cstachiw.com, cstachiw.com. That's my link tree for things that I work on, not just by myself, but with Mike, because we do another show about some more cops in the 70s. One singular cop, as opposed to a whole group of them, I guess.
Yeah, all about the Columbo over at shabbydetective.com. And for me, it's kind of a grab bag this month over at the projection booth. There are a few films that were requested: Wise Blood, The Cannonball Run, Gumball Rally, The Conformist, and then also talking about Kinji Fukasaku's Black Lizard, and that ball of laughter that we call The Night Porter. So all of that is available over at projectionboothpodcast.com. And I don't have a cool link tree, but Chris, why don't you plug your link tree, man?
Didn't I?
I thought you did not, but maybe you did.
All right, cstachiw.com. cstachiw.com. I don't know. Go to the Shabby Detective. If you like this show, go listen to the Shabby Detective. How's that? Just a singular suggestion. If you like Barney Miller, you would more than likely like Columbo. How's that?
And I hope nobody at home is saying, who's Columbo? What?
Oh, Jesus.
What is this?
Oh, God.
What are you talking about?
No!